Right, so let's get to the rules. Okay, there's a lot of rules here. Okay, and I'm not going to hand them out to you.
Why not?
Because I've only one sheet.
It's a good copy.
So here's the general rules of the game. I've called this Genesis, the game of life. And I want you to all think about this.
Sorry, is this the 10 corrections? No.
I want you to all think of this, right, in this way, as a game. Just get your mindset into that a moment. Just like a game of chess, or a game of drafts, or a game of whatever it is, right? Snakes and ladders. All right, here's the board, and here's all the pieces that's inside the board. Okay? So what else comes with the game? Rules. You need the rules. And you also need strategy. And there's a few strategies going on here that you need to be aware of. So let's do the general rules at the beginning. Because now it's these rules that you need to learn, like you learn to drive. Because this is how the ego works. And if you know what you can and cannot do, this is a wonderful test. The intellects of the world will love this. You know? All right, Anya. And Isabel. Okay, right, so let's look at the rules. These kind of rules kind of cover them all at the beginning. Then what we're going to do is called the general rules, and then we're going to the rules of level 1, 2, and 3. So the general rules is this. It's compulsory to think on levels 1 and 2. All right? Automatically you see what happens in the law of cause and effect straight away. What happens? Once you think, you lose that bliss. Yeah? So, it's compulsory to think. It means you have no choice but to think. So you can see how hard it is to experience any true love, any true bliss, any true happiness, peace, or joy. It's nearly impossible. Another rule is number 2. There are only 2 thought systems. Level 1 and level 2. The ego and God. 3. You do not think. If there's only 2 thought systems, one belongs to the ego on level 1, and one, believe it or not, level 2 belongs to God, the Holy Spirit, right-mindedness, whatever. Where's yours?
Whichever one you choose.
So what does that mean on level 1? 93% of the time, all your thoughts will be coming from the ego. Your judgments, your feelings. And remember, emotions come from thoughts. So if you're a very emotional person, on level 1, you're in deep, deep trouble. Because your life will be a roller coaster. Up and down. It doesn't matter what you do or who you're with, it'll be like that.
So it's like that puppeteer analogy, is it? Where you are just a lifeless thing and it's either...
Yeah. You have no independent thoughts that belong to you. The ego is a pre-programmed thought system, meaning the ego cannot think independently by itself. It must obey the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect operates on all levels. Beginning on level 1, you cannot skip levels as you ascend. So you can see the problem here for everybody that's in the Muji followers and the Power of Now followers. They're all trying to skip a level.
Is that number 4? Or are you just expanding?
I'm on number 9.
What?
Number 9.
Number 8. Don't worry, I'll email these through to you. Don't write if you don't have to. I'll email them through. Just basically send me an email, because when you're writing, then you're not absorbing them like. So the ego cannot think independently by itself. The ego must obey the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect operates. Beginning on level 1, yeah, you cannot skip. And also the number 10 then is you cannot learn levels 3, 4, and 5. So if you're doing spirituality now, and a lot of spiritual people in Ireland are doing various spiritual philosophies, Eastern philosophies, and so on. And you really want to take a look at it now. You know, it's all transcending right-minded thinking. Isn't that right? Yeah? Anybody want to come in on that?
Do you mean it's skipping?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. See, there has to be, the whole point of this is to be in the world and to think with God. Because if you're thinking with God, you're doing everything with God. That's what this world, that's where the mass awakening is going to take place here. And when you've completed this level, you wake up on this level. That's what this is all about. And this is really simple. Some of my students have done this in 6 months. Some have taken 2 years. But they have come in every shape and form. I have doctors, therapists, psychotherapists. You know, I have all types of people doing this. And if you really need to learn these rules, because if you're serious about doing this, it'll save you so much time and say, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't. Eliminate everything you can't do and focus only on what you can do. You cannot, another one is here, levels 3, 4, and 5 are all effects and not causes. You cannot teach an effect. So when you have teachers of the course teaching levels 3, 4, and 5, they're trying to teach what cannot be taught. So recognize that. Is this the type of teacher? Is this what I need to reinforce into myself? This is specialness. Okay. You can only teach at the level you're at. So if a teacher's teaching at level 3, what's he going to teach at level 3? Byron Katie's at level 3. What's she teaching? She's teaching level 2. I know another famous Course in Miracles teacher. He says he's on level 3. What's he teaching? Level 3, 4, and 5.
Which can't be taught.
Which can't be taught.
They're saying that state arises naturally from being at level 2.
There is, you see, as you were saying, Michael, the people like Muji and Eckhart, they're on that sort of level, but there is actually nothing wrong with that either.
Absolutely
There's
not.
nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
You can't bring other people in.
But you know what's happening there in reality with that, Paul?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, those two guys are the symbols for a lot of people. And the people are with them now for a good while, right? It's been really good for them because they can feel that. And I think, Corey, you were there at Moody's and you could feel that energy. Do you know? And people who are in that know it's there from that knowing themselves of this energy and that it does work, but they just can't get there. So especially with Eckhart Tolle, like, you know, I think that copy, the book sold 12 million copies. So 12 million people, they're ready now. All they need is just the ABC how to do this. So, you know, it's for those people who've stayed the course. Because people will drop away, you know. I've seen here in the group in Ireland, like, you know, people have come, people have dropped away. That's okay, they're just not ready for it now. Nothing wrong with that. But there are people who are really ready for this now, and this is the way for them. It's one of the ways for them. It's not the only way for them. But it's a real simple and clear way for them. So let's keep going. There's only 2 teachers. Name them?
Ego and Holy Spirit.
Ego and God. All right. You are not the teacher. So if you're teaching this, it's important to know that. If you're on level 1, you're teaching with the ego. If you're on level 2, you're teaching with God. That's how simple this is. The completion of levels 1 and 2 is the acceptance of the atonement. The teacher of God is someone who has reached level 2 and is now the voice for God and teaches from that voice. The advanced teacher of God is someone who has completed levels 1 and 2 and has awakened on level 3. They have accepted the atonement. Both persona and shadow must equate in energy. So it's like this: if you're using the persona to get anything in life, then you must pay the price. And the price is pain, suffering, sickness, whatever it is. It'll come in many, many forms, the price comes. So someone might have used the persona all their life and had a great life. You'll see at the end of the life they might become very sick. They might get cancer, they might get this, they might get that. The equation must be balanced here. No one gets away with anything at this level. No matter what you think, everybody pays the law of cause and effect. Okay? This is the law of God. This is the justice of God. Do you know how that justice works? What's the one vital lesson that if you go away here today and you take it with you, you'll have learned? No one hurts you but yourself. If I'm in pain, I'm the creator of that pain. Your task is to find out how and why am I doing this. It's as simple as that, because that's responsibility. So, I'm not going to go through all these rules. I'll go through a few of them. So, let's move on to level 1 rules here, right? When you're born into the world, into the body, the ego dualistic split mind is your default mindset. You are a prisoner to its perceptions of right and wrong and good and bad. In other words, and the Course tells you this, there's no neutral thoughts at this level. You have everybody in your life in the good room or the bad. You can't have someone in neither. So what I found that a lot of people do in the Course was that a lot of people in the good room, and then they had a lot of bad people and seeming, in cloud space somewhere. Like they weren't in the bad room, but they weren't in the good room either. So you can see how the ego, they were manipulating the system now. They were trying to basically rearrange the metaphysics of level 1 and how these two rooms operate. You can't do that. So have you someone in your life that hurt you really badly? Where are they now? Have you them in the good room? And you might think, right, it's wrong now, put them in the bad room, it's wrong to have a hold of grievance. But you still don't want to put them in the good room. You're only fooling yourself. It doesn't work that way. You need to know the rules. These rules state very clearly how this system works. If you were to learn chess, you would need to know all the rules of chess and the strategy for you to beat or to win at chess. Well, that's what you need to do with this. You need to learn these rules of how this works. There is no present moment at this level, only past and future is in your mind. The shadow of the persona is at war. We discussed that. But this war is an illusion set up by the ego. You cannot use the persona without paying for it with the shadow. The personality is 7% while fully unconscious. In conflict, good, the persona, will always outdo evil. Good will always triumph over evil in this world by 7%. So when you look at the war at that time, World War I and II with Hitler and Germany and all, right? Good was destined to win that war by 7%. So you can see, right, in this system, all right, it's set up in such a way that good will always triumph over evil. So where does the 7% come out of?
Personality.
No. Oh yeah, the personality. But it's coming from truth. So it's that truth that always gives good the balance over evil.
So the personality is still, it's ourself in the
Yeah.
world, but it's connected to truth.
Yeah, you see, in the ego thought system, there's a part of it, there's a thought that reserves a place for the personality for that 7%, because in the system, all right, it's pre-programmed that good will always triumph over evil. Okay, and it's that little, you could call it, everybody here seen The Matrix?
No.
No? No? Basically where Neo He's plugged into the matrix and he goes into this body that's in the matrix. They found a way to get in and out of the matrix. Well, that's what this is. The personality can come in and out of the ego thought system, level 1. Yeah? And it comes into that little space of the 7%.
Need we be afraid of our ego?
Huh?
Need we be afraid of
Not
our
at all. I mean, the ego is really your teacher. And it will teach us a very simple lesson. Use me and I'm going to hurt you. That's simple. Yeah? And that's the only lesson you need to learn with the ego, like, you know. So therefore you need to learn how it works. So, level 1 rules. The price you pay from seeking from the ego and using the persona is pain. Okay? The personality must be more than 66% on level 1 for you to ascend and then remain on level 2. For to start giving you this new energy of this new mindset. Right. This all looks, right, like it's words and concepts here, right? But let me tell you how it really works. When you start learning the meaning of these concepts and what they really mean, you start thinking like the Holy Spirit, like God. And that has an amazing energy around it. There's no fear up there, there's no anxiety. There's only, and the longer you stay there, you start to look down on level 1 and see it clear. You start to see what's true and what's false without hesitation. That's how easy this is. So your task here at level 1 is your focus is to start taking back your power from the persona. That's what I do with my students. I do it with them on a weekly and bi-weekly case. But it's cunning and devious to work with, so I've learned a lot from my students. So again, I'll go through another of these. You cannot relinquish the shadow without first relinquishing the persona. Level 1 teaching and learning must precede level 2 teaching and learning. You can see everybody jumped to level 2 when they heard about the 10 corrections. They still have those people learned everything about level 1 and how it works. See, the other thing is here, you must learn who you're not to find out who you are. And that's what level 1 is all about. Right. On level 1, there's 3 types of teachers, and you all know them. Anybody tell me them? You have persona teachers, you have personality teachers, and you have shadow teachers. What will the persona teacher teach you?
Nice things.
Level 3.
Make lots of money.
Huh?
Become a millionaire overnight.
Yeah. They'll teach basically specialness because they'll want to basically make their audience feel as good as possible. So they'll reinforce you are the Son of God. You are innocent. You are the light of the world. Everything that'll make you feel good because the persona wants you going out of that room pockets lighter and feeling good. All right? Neither happens in my classes. All right? Okay? Because I try my best not to teach levels 3, 4, and 5. Okay? The other thing the persona teacher will teach right and wrong and good and bad. So they'll start looking and judging other teachers and they'll start putting them down because the persona puts itself up by putting others down. When's the last time Eckhart Tolle or Byron Katie put anybody down? Never. Truth doesn't need to be defended. Truth doesn't need to attack. Simple as that. Okay? Those who teach truth to attack are not teaching truth, they're teaching the persona. And you have personality teachers who are teaching the course also. And then you have basically teachers here are also teaching the course, but you know, a shadow teacher in the world would be someone who's teaching hate. Differences, separation, races, all of the above. So get to know your teachers, who's teaching what, who are you listening to, what are you teaching? Is this teacher helping you or hindering you?
So the personality teacher is giving a balanced view.
Well, the personality teacher, and there is a good few personality teachers will be coming through, but you see the persona teacher will always attack the personality teacher.
Right. But your personality teacher was something.
So,
Well, I suppose I could call you a few other things, but
yeah. Right, and this is what we were doing here. All right. The persona thinking, which is here, right, is corrected by level 2 thinking here, which in turn nullifies the shadow here, and the effects of that is when you wake up into this. That's the strategy you need to follow. Is everybody with me? Yeah? So that brings us on now to level 2 rules. All right, we'll go through these quickly. The name of the game on level 2 is this. You must find all attachments, coping mechanisms, and defenses that you're attached to on level 1. So let me give you an example of an attachment. Special love. Has everybody here got someone that loves specially? Yeah? You can't have that without hating someone. Now you can deny that you hate someone, but that doesn't mean that you don't hate someone. You can't have one without the other. You can't have good people in your life without having bad people. You can't have good thoughts without having bad thoughts. You see the dilemma in all of this. Okay? You need to understand how this world works, how the mind works, because this mind that you're thinking with is not yours. It belongs to the ego. So if you're going to use it, at least know what you're using. So, the following are all compulsory requirements for you to remain on level 2. Complete responsibility without blame. Complete acceptance without being a victim. Discernment between truth and illusions. Forgiveness, that is detachment. Unconditionality in all relationships is compulsory. Non-attachment in what you do is compulsory. Complete forgiveness, seeing the truth, is compulsory. Self-empowerment, your true self, is compulsory. And silent prayer, which is level 3 preparation, which is the 10th of the 10 corrections, is also compulsory. The completion of level 2 is the acceptance of the atonement. The completion of level 2 is a cause. Level 3 is its effect. To remain on level 2 is the effect of the complete detachment of level 1. So here's what's happening. When you're on level 2, working with your coping mechanisms, your attachments, and your defenses, you're detaching from this mind. You're not detaching from people. You're not asked to sacrifice any relationships here. What you're asked to give up is the way you see people, the way you think about people. That's all. So in the 10 corrections, you go through these 10 corrections, they correct the 10 primary thoughts in the persona. These. Okay? These are corrected, these disappear. These also disappear. And these become natural. Cause and effect. So when you have completely, people call it healed, I call it detached from this here, you will have accepted the atonement. And I used to think accepting the atonement was basically accepting your innocence, and it is technically. But what it really means is you're accepting the correction. You've had a thought, a belief that you're separate and that you're guilty and sinful and that you're fearful. The acceptance of the atonement is the acceptance of the correction for that thought. Here you have the thought of separation, the belief of separation, which is nothing. Here you have the correction for that nothing. Okay, that's important to understand. So here's the strategy. Oh, sorry, the level 3 rules. When you reach here, you are conscious, you are awake, you're in the state of being. Now choice becomes everything for you because you can switch off drinking. You can switch off thinking and be in bliss. Some people, when they stop drinking, they could be in bliss too. Okay? So basically, and some people need to drink to be in bliss. So what you can do here is really cool. This is what it's all about. If you really need motivation, when you get to this place, everything becomes alive in your life. And this happened to me 2 weeks ago, and Sharon was the witness of this, like, because 7 years ago, I was in this every day and felt it every day, the aliveness of it. But then through time, I went into this mindset, and I began doing what I was doing. But I came back to this, and I went out one morning at 5 a.m. in Dublin, it was raining. And it was the most blissful walk I've ever had in my life. The rain was coming down, and it was alive. I mean, the energy of that rain was alive. The birds, the trees, everything. Everything in this world is so alive with the presence of God, it is unbelievable. But it's this mind that blocks it out. It's there all the time. And when I get back into this awareness, when I walk this path that I'm explaining to you now that I have walked, all right, you're going to be back. And you know something? For about a week or 2 weeks, I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to get off the couch again, really. Seriously, I was in that state of being, that state of bliss. It was just, there's nothing you need to do here.
Michael, can you experience moments like that in your life before?
Yes.
Like standing in a,
Yes.
on the hill? you
Yes. The problem is with that island is you don't know what it is.
No.
You rationalize it, and then you lose it again because the rationalizer is the ego. And any experiences you do have that's in the personality, when you're in here, your personality is so weak here that you're given everything down the tube with rationalization. See, there's no responsibility. And when you start to take responsibility, what you're doing is you take power back from the ego. So let me run through the level 3 rules, right? You can think on level 1, all right, and you can turn it off. And you'll be able to think on level 2, and you'll be able to turn it off. In other words, you've got multi-channels, all right? And you're going to have so much fun because you can turn them all off and go into bliss here. Okay? When you arrive here, you're awake. You've accepted the atonement. You're the advanced teacher of God. You will teach and demonstrate your path from level 1 and 2 for others to follow. The genuine teachers of the advanced teachers of God, why would they teach 3, 4, and 5 that can't be taught? Why would they not teach, this is the way I came, follow me? Because that's what Jesus says in the Course. He says, I walk slightly ahead of you, and you follow me, and you walk slightly ahead of your brothers. So this is what I've been doing for the last 7 years. Every class, every teaching, every video has been specific, simple, and clear. Okay, I'm showing you my own journey, how I walk this. So for other teachers who might claim to be on levels 3, 4, or 5, then show your students how you got there. Because this is important. This is why the role of the teacher is there. The teacher is the bridge between the truth and you. That's all. So here we go with the strategies. All right.